Morning everyone, I hope you're doing well. So last night we had one of the first proper frosts of the winter, and I've come out to take a walk as I do. I'm trying to do a walk most days if I can, or be a little bit more active. Oh, got cars coming down. Moving to one side. It's a bit slippy slidey. Just let him go past. It's a bit slippy slidey today. It's a bit chilly. And I said to you before I wanted to talk to you about doing things other than just archery on this YouTube channel. And today I'm going to talk to you about something that is really important when it comes to winter months. And that is about staying warm. I'm going to offer you a few tips and advice that I found useful. First thing is layers. I'm somebody who feels the cold but likes the cold, which kind of sounds a bit of a contradiction. But I love cold weather, always have done. And to stay warm, I wear layers. And people laugh at me because they say, "Why are you wearing so many layers?" Well, when I'm out on a walk, I can take a layer off and put it into my day sack. And if I'm out skiing, I can take a layer off and put it into the day sack I'm carrying then. I'd rather have an extra layer to put on or to take off than to be too cold. So, like today, it's probably hovering around about freezing. I've got a lightweight, windproof jacket. You can see I've got a hoodie. Again, it's quite a thin one. Under that, I've got a thin fleece shirt. I'm just going to show you a bit of a view of where I'm walking actually, just before I go down what I'm actually wearing. Here you go. Have a look. Quite a nice little lane I'm walking down. Anyway, just pointed you straight at the sun, didn't I? Very sorry about that. Anyway, what I was saying was, I've got a thin fleece shirt underneath, and I got a long sleeve t-shirt under that. 4 layers. Seems an awful lot for a walking and hiking, but it means I can take a layer off if I need to. I like hoodies just because they keep my neck warm. I've got a pair of lightweight walking trousers, and this morning I bothered to actually dig out my merino leggings and thermals. I put them on because I knew I was going to be going out, and these trousers were quite lightweight. The nice thing about these trousers though is they were quite inexpensive. They're relatively smart, and they've got loads of pockets, and they've got decent pockets, as in they're quite deep pockets, so I can put my gloves, notebooks, keys and all that sort of stuff in them without worrying about them falling out, which is one of the things I've noticed with a lot of walking trousers. They give you pockets, but they're so small or they're so tight you can't actually make much use of them. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, I always work on the principle of wearing lots of layers and being able to take a layer off, and they're thin layers so that they give, for me, they trap more air between each layer, and then that means I can stay warm and don't feel the cold. The other thing I've got today is I've got some gloves. I've got a couple of pairs of gloves with me. One of them are these little thin chelate gloves. We're actually a glove and can convert into a mitten, and I like these a lot because actually inside there they've got a little bit of fleece lining for when you bend over the mitten part, your fingers are that little bit warmer. And what you can do is drop a little disposable heat pack. You should probably have seen the little hand warmers. Drop them into there and you can keep your hands really toasty warm if you want. I've got a variant of those that I use when I'm shooting as well. I don't tend to use these when I'm shooting because though they're fingerless, they actually cover your thumb completely. which makes it a little bit harder for drawing arrows. So I tend to use just regular fingerless gloves for that. But that's got to be when it's really cold. So I know some people love, wow, I've just disturbed a buzzard. I'm walking under this beautiful old oak tree, which has still got loads of leaves on it. And I've just disturbed a buzzard. Absolutely beautiful. Sorry. What I tend to do is I like the layers. Some people like to have a thin base layer and a big puffy jacket or fleece jacket. I overheat with those too easily. So the advantage I see in wearing layers is I can regulate my temperature. Nice toasty warm, not even wearing my gloves right now, even though it's quite chilly, and in the shade here you can actually still see the ice. So I doubt that will actually thaw at all today. Anyway, the other thing to say is find something that you're comfortable in and you can walk in, you can shoot in. A lot of the time you'll find clothing that is on the high street. I'm not going to mention any brands, but when you're shooting, what you tend to find is when you stretch your arm out, the sleeves sort of come up your wrist, and if your wrists are cold, your hands get cold. If your hand gets cold, it's not much fun. So try to look for those things that actually are quite long and cover your wrists and keep you warm, and it actually gives you a level of mobility. So I'm wearing lots of layers, but I can still move quite happily, and I'll probably be wearing this when I go down the range later and do a bit of shooting. And that's important. You don't want your clothes to impinge on you depending on what activities you're doing. So whether you're walking, skiing, hiking or anything like that. I can hear a car coming down behind me. Just going to move off to the side and go past. So no matter what you're doing, what activities you're doing, you don't want your clothing to limit you. You want your clothing to support the activity you're actually doing. So in my case, if it's archery, you want to be able to move around. You want to be able to stretch those shoulders. You want to be able to stay warm when you stood around waiting for your shot. And that's really important. You'll notice I don't have a waterproof layer on, and that's because I checked the weather forecast and there's no rain, snow, sleet or precipitation of any kind promised for a couple of days. I do have a poncho in the backpack that I can throw on, and as I've said before, I'm probably about now half a mile or so from home, and that's fine. They're only short walks. They're more about me getting out and trying to be fit and healthy and being a little bit more active and clearing my head up here. And it seems to be helping me. I'm producing these videos, but it also seems to be helping me just get out and be active. So anyway, cold weather. Think about layering up, but think really carefully about what's suitable. What clothing is going to work for you for the activity you're undertaking. If you're going for a walk like right now, big jacket, probably keep you nice and warm, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're going to be shooting, being a bit more strenuous, then you're going to be wanting clothing that's going to be able to support the activities that you're doing. And that goes all the way down to your feet as well. I'm wearing walking boots today, decent pair of walking socks. Feet are lovely and warm. They work really well. So if your feet are cold, you get cold. And it's not much fun you tend to get a bit miserable. So that's it, guys. I hope you're finding these sort of tips and advice useful. As I said, I'm trying to expand what I'm doing with the YouTube channel and also the website. I'm just going to move over because the sun's going to catch you lots. I've got some plans. I've got a review of Leatherman's multi-tools that may or may not have come out by the time this video comes out, and we'll see how things go. But if you like what I'm doing, let me know. Hit the like button. Think about subscribing to the channel. And in the meantime, stay safe, enjoy your archery, and get out there and enjoy the, I suppose it's late autumnal weather we're having and sunshine. Christmas is just around the corner. Yes, I mentioned Christmas, but it's true, it's just around the corner. So enjoy yourselves, whatever you're doing, and take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you'd like to get in touch, you can find me on offthearrowshelf.com or on Instagram, offthearrowshelf again. You can even email me on offthearrowshelf@yahoo.co.uk. But most of all, remember to stay safe and enjoy your archery.